Good morning, David.
Good morning, Karat.
How can an individual or an institution change risk appetite?
It's very important because risk appetite is our drive to take risk. It's how hungry we are to take risk in a given situation. And then our risk appetite results in the risk thresholds that we set around each objective, how much above and below, how much variance we're prepared to accept in each of our objectives. And then that risk threshold, or the risk thresholds above and below, will determine our risk management strategy. It will determine how aggressive we are in terms of dealing with risk. It will determine the risk responses that we choose. And this all comes from our base risk appetite. So if our risk appetite is inappropriate, we're too much hungry or not enough hungry, and we set the wrong level of thresholds, then our risk management process will be focused either too aggressive or not aggressive enough. And so that will affect our ability to respond appropriately to the level of risk that we actually face. So it is important that we're able to make a change somewhere. But the question is whether we can change our risk appetite. Can you change how hungry you feel for food? Not really. It is what it is. I have an example. I was invited to Australia a couple of years ago, and I flew from the UK. I was going to speak at a conference. It was a 20-hour flight, and I arrived at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was due to speak at the conference that opened in the afternoon. My host met me at the airport. I changed my clothes in the airport, and he said, "I'll just take you for lunch. We have a chance to go for lunch before the conference." And he took me to a beautiful restaurant on the beachfront. It's specialized in seafood. Seafood is my favorite. And he said, "Here's the menu. Have anything you like." And there was wonderful starters, fried calamari, and then there was fabulous fresh fish just caught from the ocean that morning. And then there were really nice, rich desserts. And I looked at the menu and I thought, I would like this, and this, and then this, and then this. And I compiled, because I was hungry after 20 hours on the plane and horrible aeroplane food. I would like to eat a nice big fish meal. And then I thought, I'm tired, I have jet lag, 12 hours jet lag. I have to speak at a conference this afternoon. If I eat a big meal, then what's going to happen? All the blood goes to my stomach, I feel sleepy, I don't perform very well. I'm not going to do a good job for the reason I'm here. So my appetite, if I express that appetite in an amount of food that I want to eat, it will not help me do what I need to do. So I need to change something. So what I need to change is the amount of food that I eat. So I said, well, I'll have a salad and maybe a little bit of calamari and a glass of fruit juice, and that will be fine. Now, then after, when I come to the conference, I'm feeling fresh and I'm not sleepy and I can do a good job. I was still hungry. I still wanted the big meal, but I knew it was inappropriate. So I hadn't changed my appetite. What I'd changed was my behavior. I'd said, I want a big meal. That won't help me. I'll take a small meal. That will help me do what I need to do. So I changed my risk thresholds, the amount of risk I was prepared to take, not my risk appetite, how hungry I was to take risk, because of the results that it would have. So when you ask the question, how does an individual or an institution change its risk appetite, the answer is it can't. It is what it is in terms of the drive to take risk, but what it can do is to change the risk thresholds that it sets. And that requires emotional intelligence, which we talked about in an earlier question. So what you do is you allow your risk appetite to be expressed through risk thresholds, then you look at those thresholds and you say, are these appropriate? We have awareness of what our thresholds are and appreciation of where they came from, and then we assess them. Are they right or not? And if not, we make a change. If they're okay, we go with them. This is the 6 A's model that we talked about in an earlier question as well. Awareness and appreciation, what happened and why. Assessment, is it okay? If it's okay, we accept it. If it's not okay, we affirm the need for change and take action, the 6 A's model. So the way that we change is not to change our risk appetite, it's to change our attitude to risk through applying emotional intelligence, and then our behavior will change because attitude drives behavior, and we will set appropriate risk thresholds that will help us to manage the risk that we face, even if our appetite is for something different. So you could have a management team that wants to take a lot of risk. They say, let's launch 6 new products before Christmas, and let's make sure that we break into a new market to become the best in the world. And you go, that's a great goal, that's an appetite for a lot of risk, but when we think about it, we have a limited team, we have a limited time, we have limited capability. Maybe that's just too much. Maybe we should just set a different goal, which is a lower amount of risk, not the amount that you have in your appetite, but something which is actually achievable. And so then we apply emotional intelligence with our management team. We say, this is what you want to do, this is why, it's not appropriate, awareness, appreciation, assessment. Let's affirm the need for action together and take action to change. So it is important in terms of strategy, in terms of project risk, in terms of personal risk, operational risk, all of these things. We have appetites to take risk which may be inappropriate. We use applied emotional intelligence to change not the appetite, but the behaviour that comes from it.
Thank you, David.
It's a pleasure.